This is the Gaza Strip on April 1st, 2024, after decades of continuous bombing from the Israel Defense Force.
Tonight, U.S. support for Israel looks like this. A hulking U.S. military transport plane bolstering Israel's war effort against Hamas landing at Nevatim Air Base, where CNN secured exclusive access as airmen offloaded its cargo.
We stand with Israel. We stand with Israel. We will make sure Israel has what it needs to take care of its citizens.
These are some of the weapons the United States government are supplying to Israel, contributing to a modern-day genocide. U.S.-made Mk-84 bomb was used to drop on Baptist Hospital, which killed over 700 people. While the IDF refuses to take responsibility, Palestinian officials and several Arab leaders nevertheless accuse Israel of hitting the hospital amid its ongoing airstrikes in Gaza.
At 8:23 p.m., the Israeli Prime Minister's social media advisor, Hanania Naftali, celebrated the bombing by saying Israeli Air Force struck a Hamas terrorist base inside a hospital in Gaza. A multiple number of terrorists are dead. He then deleted the tweet. The Israeli army were quick to deny having anything to do with the attack on the hospital and tweeted, "The Palestinian Islamic Jihad terrorist organization is responsible for the failed shooting that hit the hospital." Along with the tweet, they posted CCTV footage reportedly confirming rockets being launched by the Palestinian Islamic Jihad. One glaring problem with the footage they shared was the timestamp. The CCTV feed displays a timestamp of 7:59 p.m., which was approximately 1 hour after the impact. The IDF then edited the tweet and removed the attached footage.
Over the years, Israel has received substantial support from the United States, who is obsessed with power and control in the region, totaling over $300 billion in military and economic aid since its inception in 1948.
It is one of the strongest military forces in the Middle East and boasts one of the world's most advanced and technologically sophisticated militaries, in addition to its state-of-the-art rocket interception system, Iron Dome. Achieving and maintaining this military might cost Israel a lot of money, however. So, where does it get its funding? Enter the United States of America, Israel's closest ally, an ally that has been giving Israel billions and billions of dollars every year and over many years to finance its military ambitions.
6 months have passed since Israel began its brutal war of retaliation on Gaza, which the International Court of Justice says plausibly amounts to genocide. In that time, more than 33,000 Palestinians have been killed. The conflict has its origins in the rise of Zionism in Europe and the arrival of Jewish settlers to Ottoman Palestine in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. The local Arab population opposed Zionism, primarily out of fear of territorial displacement and dispossession. The war escalated when Hamas launched a surprise attack on southern Israel from the Gaza Strip. After clearing the militants from its territory, the Israeli military embarked on an extensive aerial bombardment of the Gaza Strip, followed by a large-scale ground invasion beginning on the 27th of October.
Foreign journalists were invited to watch a 43-minute compilation of the bloodshed. It's not yet possible independently to verify all the content, but some of the images, like this attack on a kibbutz called Be'eri, have already been widely seen. Other footage will probably never be made public, as it's far too distressing. More than 1,400 people were killed and over 200 taken hostage in the attack.
Welcome to a deep dive into the history and impact of U.S. military aid to Israel. This aid has played a crucial role in shaping Israel's military capabilities and strategic position in the region. The recent arms packages approved by the United States underscore the close relationship between the two nations.
Reports suggest that the Pentagon has secretly increased military aid to Israel, fulfilling requests for items like 155mm shells, bunker buster munitions, and interceptors for Israel's Iron Dome missile and laser-guided missiles, a cue that critics say is Washington's green light for Israel to continue its bombing campaign in Gaza.
Providing weapons that knowingly and significantly would contribute to unlawful attacks can make those providing them complicit in war crimes.
With billions of dollars worth of bombs and fighter jets being transferred to Israel, the U.S. continues to stand by its closest ally in West Asia, despite international scrutiny.
House Republicans have passed a $14 billion bid to provide aid for Israel, but the House also included cuts to the IRS, and that sets up a clash with the Senate and the White House. Democrats want the aid to come in a larger bill that also includes aid for Ukraine and the border.
As tensions escalate in the region, the U.S. has also facilitated emergency sales of tank and artillery munitions to Israel. These sales, in addition to regular aid, highlight the ongoing support provided by the U.S. to Israel in times of conflict and need. The long-standing history of military aid from the U.S. has equipped Israel with advanced weapons systems and defense capabilities, including the Iron Dome air defense system. All of this limitless inventory of weapons could be at risk after the IDF reportedly murdered 7 food aid workers in Gaza.
So the United States is now beginning, it appears, to put its foot down. The language used, it is said, in the conversation between President Biden and the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu included the words specific, concrete and measurable steps for Israel to take. If it does not take so within hours or days, as the White House puts it, then the U.S. will be reconsidering its policy towards Israel. Now, what this exactly means, that's not clear. The White House will not be drawn on what policy changes are being contemplated. But the national security spokesman in the White House, John Kirby, made very clear that this switch in attitude is directly connected to the killing of the 7 food aid workers earlier this week.
This military aid has been instrumental in safeguarding Israel against threats and ensuring its security in a volatile region. With over $300 billion in aid received since 1948, Israel remains the largest cumulative recipient of U.S. foreign assistance post-World War II. This aid has not only bolstered Israel's military strength, but also fostered a deep-rooted alliance between the two nations. Other countries, including Germany, Italy, and the UK, have also been sending military aid to Israel.
If we look at the graphic here, that gives an idea. Remember, these are since 2008, so they're not per year. $500 million of licenses approved. I think the interesting one for me is right down the right-hand end. That's where the weapons, the grenades, the bombs, the missiles. It's about $30 million based over 15 years. So it averages about $2 million a year, which is, a relatively small amount compared to the $3 billion that the US is providing.
Mounting pressure on Israel's allies to halt arms supplies has reached boiling point after an attack on a World Central Kitchen convoy in Gaza that killed 7 aid workers.
Now, there's a personal element here. President Biden is acquainted with the owner of the World Central Kitchen, Jose Andres, and certainly this appears to have disturbed the president intensely, including the fact as well that among those 7 food aid workers killed is an American citizen. So now you've got the U.S. pushing into a totally different position in terms of persuading Israel to increase its protection of civilians. But more than that, President Biden, in his phone call, called for an immediate ceasefire to allow for the delivery of humanitarian aid to those in Gaza. So this is a significant shift in the U.S. position, whether it transforms into policy changes, whether it makes assistance to Israel conditional. Well, that's something that the White House will not comment on.
But despite urging an immediate ceasefire and warning about the possible loss of American support, Joe Biden has so far showed cowardice at conditioning weapons supplies on future Israeli behavior. Canada, the Netherlands, Japan, Spain, and Belgium have all announced they would stop shipping weapons to Israel.